On a crisp autumn morning in 1889, in the small town of Messkirch, Germany, a boy was born who would go on to change the course of Western philosophy. Martin Heidegger, the son of a church sexton, grew up in a devout Catholic household, surrounded by the rhythms of religious life and the mysteries of existence. Little did anyone know that this boy, raised in the shadow of the church, would one day become one of the most influential and controversial philosophers of the 20th century. From an early age, young Martin showed an insatiable curiosity. Encouraged by his teachers, he pursued studies in theology before shifting his focus to philosophy, drawn to the deep questions about being, time, and human existence. He studied at the University of Freiburg, where he would later become a professor, mentoring students who themselves would leave indelible marks on the philosophical landscape, such as Hannah Arendt and Hans-Georg Gadamer. However, Heidegger's path was not without its shadows. In 1933, as the Nazi Party rose to power, he made the fateful decision to become rector of the University of Freiburg. His brief but troubling association with the regime remains a stain on his legacy, raising difficult ethical questions that scholars still grapple with today. Though he later distanced himself from National Socialism, the controversy surrounding his political choices continues to be a point of intense debate. Yet Heidegger's intellectual contributions cannot be dismissed. His seminal work, Being and Time, 1927, shattered traditional metaphysical assumptions and redefined the way we think about existence. Even after retreating into the Black Forest in later years, where he lived a solitary life of contemplation, his thoughts continued to shape existentialism, phenomenology, and postmodern philosophy. Heidegger's later years were marked by deep reflection and an increasing focus on poetry and language as a means to access the truth of being. He believed that modern philosophy had lost its connection to the poetic essence of existence, and he sought inspiration from poets such as Hölderlin to reframe philosophical inquiry in a way that transcended mere rational thought. The philosophy of being, Heidegger's central ideas, Dasein, and the question of being, at the heart of Heidegger's philosophy lies a deceptively simple yet profound question. What does it mean to be? He argued that Western philosophy, from Plato to Descartes, had neglected this fundamental inquiry, treating being as a given rather than a mystery worth investigating. Heidegger introduced the concept of Dasein, a German word meaning being there. Dasein refers to human existence, characterized by self-awareness, temporality, and a unique relationship to being. Unlike inanimate objects, Dasein does not simply exist. It cares, projects itself into the future, and interprets its own being. We do not have a relationship to being. We are this relationship, being and time. Being toward death, one of Heidegger's most powerful ideas, is that of being toward death. He argued that authentic existence requires confronting our mortality. Most people, he believed, live in a state of inauthenticity, distracting themselves from the reality of death through daily routines and societal expectations. However, those who face death with courage gain a deeper understanding of their own existence. Death is the possibility of the absolute impossibility of Dasein, being and time. The concept of the They und das Man Heidegger was critical of the ways in which individuals lose themselves in the anonymous mass of society. He called this force das Man, the they. Instead of making choices for themselves, people tend to conform to social norms and expectations, living in an unreflective state. True authenticity, according to Heidegger, requires breaking free from das Man and embracing one's unique potential. Everyone is the other, and no one is himself. Being and time. Temporality and historicity. Another crucial aspect of Heidegger's thought is his discussion of temporality. He argued that human existence is fundamentally tied to time. Dasein is not a static being, but a temporal one, always moving toward the future while interpreting the past. This understanding of time as an intrinsic part of human existence challenges traditional metaphysical notions of a fixed and absolute reality. Heidegger also emphasized the role of history in shaping human existence. Unlike traditional philosophers, who saw history as a mere backdrop to human thought, Heidegger viewed historical situatedness as essential to understanding oneself and the world. Technology and the modern world in his later works, particularly The Question Concerning Technology, 1954, Heidegger turned his attention to the dangers of modernity. He warned that technological thinking reduces the world to a mere resource, Gestel, stripping it of its deeper meanings. Instead of seeing a tree as something with intrinsic worth, modern humans view it merely as timber, something to be exploited. Heidegger was not merely anti-technology. Rather, he urged humanity to adopt a more mindful and poetic relationship with the world, one that allows being to reveal itself rather than forcing it into rigid categories of utility and efficiency. The essence of technology is by no means anything technological. The Question Concerning Technology, Legacy and Influence. Despite the controversies surrounding his political past, Heidegger's impact on philosophy, literature, and even psychology remains undeniable. Existentialists, like Sartre, drew heavily from his ideas, as did postmodern thinkers like Derrida. His critiques of technology and inauthenticity continue to resonate in an age dominated by digital distractions and mass conformity. His reflections on language and poetry influenced not only philosophers, but also poets and literary theorists. His belief that language shapes our understanding of reality has echoes in linguistic philosophy and even cognitive science. Though he spent his final years in quiet reflection, Heidegger's thoughts on being, time, and human existence continue to echo through the halls of philosophy. Whether one agrees or disagrees with his conclusions, he remains a thinker who forces us to confront the deepest questions of our existence. To dwell is to be at peace in the presence of things, poetry, language, thought. And so, Martin. Heidegger, born in a small town shaped by the currents of history and forever a seeker of truth, continues to challenge, provoke, and inspire those who dare to ask, what does it mean to be? Heidegger quotes, "Tell me how you read and I will tell you who you are. Language is the house of being. Only a God can save us. Every man is born as many men and dies as a single one. Thinking only begins at the point where we have come to know that reason, glorified for centuries, is the most obstinate adversary of thought. We should never allow our daily routines to dull our sense of wonder at the mystery of being. Philosophy is not a theory, but a way of life. The most thought-provoking thing in our thought-provoking time is that we are still not thinking.